Jai Ganesh. Hello students. Welcome to my English class 10 chapter 4 at the high school. This chapter is about Mahatma Gandhi. We know Mahatma Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who was born on 2nd October 1869 and died on 30th January 1948. When he died, the great scientist and mathematician of the world, Albert Einstein said, "Generation to come will scarce believe that such a man as this ever in flesh and blood walked upon this earth. A deceptively simple man, Gandhi overturned the greatest empire the world has ever seen." When he attended the Round Table Conference, the then Prime Minister of England, Winston Churchill, said, "A half-naked Indian beggar came to beg freedom. Freedom is begged, freedom to the straws." And that half-naked Indian beggar nagged that mighty British Empire power, dethroned them from India, drove them in from Indian soil with the weapon of truth and non-violence. When the Gandhi was asked to give his message to the nation, to the human race, he himself said that my life is my message. So, my dear friends, we all should read his autobiography. So, and this extract at the high school is an extract from his autobiography, My Experiments with the Truth. What is a biography? A biography is the life history of a person written by somebody else. What is an autobiography? An autobiography is the life history of a person written by himself. And the autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi is My Experiments with the Truth. And this is an extract, and in this extract at the high school we learn Gandhi was at the high school. He went to Rajkot High School, Rajkot English School, which became Rajkot High School, later which became Mohandas Gandhi High School. He went there, he was taught there. And when he was a student like you at the high school, enters high school, he himself wrote his life and experience, teaching and learning what happened at his high school. Whether he was a good student or not, whether he was good at sports and gymnastics or not, whether he possessed a good moral character or not. All these things we will learn from this chapter at the high school. Okay, so let us read the chapter at the high school. We know at the high school is an extract from his autobiography, um, My Experiments with the Truth. As we all know, Mahatma Gandhi was born in 1869 and died on 30th January 1948. Was one of the tallest leaders of the world. He was the greatest of our independence movement. He is popularly called the father of the nation. Before he became the Mahatma, the great soul in his latter life, Gandhi received his early education at Rajkot English School in Rajkot in the state of Gujarat. Later, it became a fully fledged high school and came to be known as Rajkot High School. Gandhi matriculated from Rajkot High School in 1887 at the age of 18. After the independence of India in 1947, the school was renamed as Mohandas High School in honor of the father of the nation. So let us discuss about Gandhi as a student. Gandhi, the father of the nation, as a student. According to several accounts from his autobiography, we know that Gandhi was not so brilliant, though he was not also a poor student. He was noted to be good at English, fair in arithmetic, weak in geography. He was good in conduct, but bad in handwriting. Though he did not have any high regard for his ability, he was astonished whenever he won prizes and scholarships. So this is an experiment interesting. In fact, we should know about Gandhi's experience of high school days as he himself had described in his autobiography, My Experiments with the Truths. Okay, so let us read the chapter line by line. At the high school, I was not regarded as a fool at the high school. I always enjoyed the affection of my teachers. Certificates of progress and character used to be sent to the parents every year. I never had a bad certificate. In fact, I even won prizes after I passed out of the second standard. In the fifth and sixth, I obtained scholarship of rupees 4 and 10 respectively, an achievement for which I have to thank good luck more than my merit. You see, Gandhi said, from the first paragraph of the text, we came to know that Gandhi was not regarded as a fool at high school. Why? Because he enjoyed the affection of his teachers. Usually, the good students with good moral character, well behaved, are fond of, are liked and gained or enjoyed the affection of teachers. As Gandhi enjoyed the affection of teachers, it shows that he was a good student both in studies and character and behavior. So, certificates of progress and character used to be sent to the parents every year, as we do have. We also in the we having received the certificates of progress and character every year. And Gandhi himself wrote that he had never had a bad certificate. In fact, this shows that Gandhi was a good student. And he even won prizes after he passed out of the second standard. And in the fifth and sixth standard also he obtained scholarships of rupees 4 at the fifth standard and 10 at sixth standard. And for this, for which an achievement for which I have to thank good luck more than my merit. From the first paragraph of this text, we came to know that Gandhi was good at studies, Gandhi was good at school, he used to obtain the affection of the teachers, he won prizes and scholarships. This shows that he was a good student. We do have in mind that good students usually win prizes and scholarships. Okay, let us discuss the second paragraph. My own recollection is that I did not have any high regard for my ability. I used to be astonished whenever I won prizes and scholarships, but I very jealously guarded my character. The least little blemish drew tears from my eyes when I merited or seemed to the teacher to merit a rebuke. It was unbearable for me. I remember having once received corporal punishment. I did not so much mind the punishment as the fact that it was considered my digit. I wept piteously. That was when I was in the fifth or sixth, seventh, first or second standard. There was another such incident during the time when I was in the seventh standard. Dorabji, Edulji, Jimmy was the headmaster then. He was popular among the boys as he was a disciplinarian, a man of method, and a good teacher. He made gymnastics and cricket compulsory for the boys of upper standard. I disliked both. I never took part in any exercise, cricket or football before they were made compulsory. My shyness was one of the reasons for this aloofness which I now see wrong. I had then the false notion that gymnastics had nothing to do with education. Today, I know that physical training should have much place in the curriculum as mental training. Let us learn line by line. My own recollection is that I did not have any high regard for my ability. That means Gandhi himself wrote that he did not achieve in high regards for his ability in his school days. And he used to be astonished whenever he won prizes and scholarships. But he very jealously guarded his character. That means building character was more important for Gandhi than winning prizes. Gandhi guarded his character jealously since his school days. The least little blemish drew tears from my eyes when I merited or seemed to the teacher to merit a rebuke, it was unbearable for me. That did shows that Gandhi himself possessed a good moral character. He could not bear any blemish. Okay, so he guarded building character was more important for Gandhi than winning prizes. Okay, I remember having once received corporal punishment. He was also given physical punishment or beaten by his teacher. I did not so much mind the punishment as the fact that it was considered my desert. I wept piteously. That was when I was in the first or second standard. This shows that when Gandhi was in standard first or second standard, he was beaten by his teachers with cane. That means he received corporal punishment. He did not mind because it was considered his digit means it was his fault. That means he was fit for that punishment. But he wept piteously whenever he got any punishment he could not bear. And this type of situation once again happened when he was in the seventh standard. Okay. And the headmaster of his school was Dorabji Edulji Jimmy, the then headmaster. He was famous. He was popular among the boys in his school, as he was a disciplinarian, a man of method, and a good teacher. Dorabji Jidulji Jimmy, Gandhi's headmaster, was very popular because he was a disciplinarian, a man of method, and a good teacher. And so that's why he was a lover of games also. He made gymnastics and cricket compulsory for the boys of the upper standard. This showed that he was a lover of sports and games. But Gandhi himself disliked both gymnastics and cricket. He had never taken part in any exercise before cricket or football were made compulsory. He did not like cricket and gymnastics, and he also had never participated in cricket and gymnastics before it was made compulsory. What was the reason? His shyness was one of the reasons for his aloofness, which I now see wrong. Gandhi was very shy. In his school days, he could not mix with his friends, he could not play with his friends. And participation, the cause of his aloofness from participation of the cricket and gymnastics class was his shyness. He himself later considered and said and wrote that it was wrong, that he should participate in sports and games in cricket and gymnastics. And he had then the false notion that gymnastics had nothing to do with education. This was his false notion. It was in his mind. And today I know that physical training should have much place in the school curriculum as mental training. Later he considered, he changed his notion and gave the message to us, to all the learners, that physical training should have much place in the curriculum as mental training. Physical training should be compulsory, the essential part. Okay. So let us read the third paragraph. The reason for my dislike was my keen desire to serve as nurse to my father. As soon as um, my school closed, I would hurry home and begin serving him. Compulsory exercise came directly in the way of my service. I requested Mr. Jimmy to exempt me from gymnastics so that I might be free to serve my father. But he would not listen to me. Now It happened that on Saturday when we had school in the morning, I had to come from home to school for gymnastics at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I had no watch, and the cloud deceived me before I reached the school. You see, the reason of my dislike was my keen desire. That means Gandhi liked his father very much, and he used to serve his ailing father after school. So the real reason for his dislike for gymnastics class was that his keen desire to serve his father as a nurse. Okay, or serve. As soon as his school was over, he hurried home and began serving him. And a compulsory exercise that was made by the headmaster came directly in the way of his service. And he requested the headmaster, Mr. Jimmy, to exempt him from the gymnastics class. But he did not listen to him. He was not exempted. Okay. And one Saturday, what happened? Gandhi went to school in the morning, and he had to attend school, or had to come home from home to school for gymnastics at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He did not have a watch, and the sky was cloudy. The cloud deceived him, so he could not know the time. Before he reached the school, the boys had all left. That means he was absent that Saturday in the gymnastics class. The next day, Mr. Jimmy, the headmaster, examining the roll, found me marked absent. Being asked for the reason of absence, I told him what had happened. He refused to believe me and ordered me to pay a fine of 1 or 2 annas. You see, so Gandhi was absent in the gymnastics class on Saturday, and for this he was asked the reason of absence, why he was absent, and Gandhi told the truth. What was the cause? That he did not have a watch and the clouds deceived him. So this was the reason why he could not attend the gymnastics class. As his headmaster, Mr. Jimmy, did not believe him and he was absent in the gymnastics class, he ordered him to pay a fine of 1 or 2 annas. Okay, so let us discuss the fourth paragraph of the text. I was convicted of lying that deeply pained me. How was I to prove my innocence? There is no way. I cried in deep anguish. I saw that a man of truth must also be a man of care. This was the first and last instance of my carelessness in school. I had a faint recollection that I finally succeeded in getting the fine remitted. The exemption from exercise was of course obtained, as my father wrote himself to the headmaster saying that he wanted me at home after school. I was convicted of lying. Who said Gandhi was convicted of lying? Though he did not lie. That deeply pained me. How was I to prove my innocence? There was no way. I cried in deep anguish. You see, Gandhi cried in deep anguish. Why? Because he could not prove his innocence. He told the truth, the reason, but he was convicted of lying. He was fined. And from this situation, from this incident, Gandhi learned and gave the message that I saw that a man of truth must also be a man of care. So a man of truth must also be a man of care. This was the first and time and last instance of my carelessness in my life. I had a faint recollection that I finally succeeded in getting the fine remitted. This shows the remission fine was there at the end, and the exemption from exercise was of course obtained, as my father wrote himself to the headmaster saying that he wanted me at school after school. After school. You see, Gandhiji yelling at father wrote to the headmaster that he wanted his service after school. So he was exempted from the exercise at the end. Okay, so we have read, I think you have read and you are clear about. Let us discuss some difficult words. Recollection here means what is remembered. Gandhi had the faint recollection that the fine was remitted at last. Jealously means being afraid of losing what you have. Gandhi very jealously guarded his character. Blemish means defect, moral defect. Gandhi, the least little blemish, drew tears from his eyes. Corporal punishment means a punishment by beating. Corporal punishment is strictly prohibited in schools and colleges. Obtain means get. Gandhi obtained scholarships in standard 5th and 6th. Disciplinarian, a man who makes others obey his orders. Gandhi's headmaster, Dorabji Adulji Jimmy, was a disciplinarian. Gymnastics, a sport in which you perform exercises that develop physical strength and the ability to bend and stretch your body. Gymnastics was made compulsory for the upper standard boys. Curriculum, courses of study in a school or a college. 50% of the curriculum has been deleted by CBSE due to COVID-19 situation. Exempt from to make someone free from duty, service or payment. Gandhi was exempted from the fine at the end. Refuge to state strong willingness to accept to say no. And he refused to accept my proposal. Convict to find something guilty. Gandhi was convicted of lying. Anguish means severe mental anguish, suffering. And he cried in deep anguish as he was punished. Be one of the hosts. You see, not to be harassed, affected by notion, an impression, an idea. Gandhi had a false notion that gymnastics had nothing to do with education. Okay, so let us do the activities. First, let us do the activity one. Answer all the questions. What is a biography? A biography is the life history of a person written by somebody else. What is an autobiography? An autobiography is the life history of a person written by himself. Was Gandhi good at study? Yes, Gandhi was good at study. Did he enjoy his teacher's affection? Yes, he enjoyed his teacher's affection. When did he win prizes? He won prizes after second standard. Which standard did he get scholarships in? Got scholarships in fifth and sixth standard. Who did he thank more for his scholarships? Himself or his good luck? He thanked his good luck more for his scholarships than himself. Okay, so what did he guard very jealously? He guarded his character very jealously. How did he react when blamed? He wept piteously. What was more important for Gandhi, winning prizes or building character? Building character was more important for Gandhi than winning prizes. When did he get physical punishment? He got physical punishment in first or second standard. Who was his headmaster? Doraji Edulji Jimmy was his headmaster. Why was he popular among the children? He was popular among the children because he was a disciplinarian, a man of method, and a good teacher. What was made compulsory for upper standard boys? Cricket and gymnastics were made compulsory for upper standard boys. What was the reason for Gandhi's dislike for cricket and gymnastics? Gandhi's highness was the reason for his dislike for cricket and gymnastics. What false idea did Gandhi had about games? Gandhi had the false notion that gymnastics did not have anything to do with education. or did have nothing to do with education. What were his later views on games? His later views on games was that physical training should be given as much place as mental training in school curriculum. So, what was the special reason for Gandhi's dislike for gymnastics? The special reason for Gandhi's dislike for gymnastics was that Gandhi had to serve his ailing father after school, and physical exercise or gymnastics class came directly in the way of his service. Why did not the headmaster grant his request? The headmaster did not grant his request because he did not believe him. Why did he get to school late on Saturday? The he did not have watch, and the clouds deceived him. He could not know the time, so he got to school late on Saturday. How much was he fined? He was fined 1 or 2 annas. What was he accused of? He was accused of lying. What pained so much? He could not prove his innocence. Though he spoke the truth to the master, but he was accused of lying. That pained him too much. What lesson did he learn from it? He learned from this the lesson that a man of truth must also be a man of care. Was he careless in school later? No, he was never careless in school later from this incident after this incident. How was the fine exempted in the end? You see, when his father wrote to the headmaster that he wanted his son's service after school, the fine was remitted. Okay, do the activity 2. Answer in a word or a phrase. What did Gandhi always enjoy at the high school? Gandhi enjoyed the affection of the teachers always at high school. Which classes did Gandhi obtain scholarships in? Fifth or sixth standard. What brought tears into his eyes? Least little blemish. Who was his headmaster? Dorabji, Edulji, Jimmy. Why was Jimmy popular among students? He was a disciplinarian, a man of method, and a good teacher. What did he make compulsory for upper standard boys? Gymnastics and cricket. What was Gandhi's false notion about gymnastics? Gandhi's false notion about gymnastics was that gymnastics had nothing to do with education. What should have a most place in school curriculum as mental training? Physical training should have a most place in the school curriculum as mental training. What was Gandhi convicted of? Gandhi was convicted of lying. Why did he weep in deep anguish? He wept in deep anguish because he could not prove his innocence, that he was speaking the truth. Okay, let us do the activity 3 in the blanks with the suitable words from the bracket. Gandhi was not regarded as a fool at the high school. Gandhi never had a bad certificate. He won prizes after he passed out second standard. He thanked his good luck more than his merit for his achievement. The least little blemish drew tears from my eyes. Building character was more important for Gandhi than winning prizes. Gandhi went to Rajkot English School. Gandhi was good at English, weak in geography. He was good in conduct and bad in handwriting. Rajkot English School became Mohandas Gandhi High School in honor of the father of the nation. Okay, so do the matching. Match the words under column A with column B. Recollection I matches to E. Recollection means memory of the past. Blemish second matches D. Blemish means moral defect. Corporal punishment third. I matches B. Corporal punishment by beating. Curriculum IB matches C. Curriculum means courses of study. Aloofness B matches with A. Aloofness means isolation. VI matches with G. Carelessness means negligence. BII matches to A. Convicted is he punished. Okay. So in this chapter, let us discuss what we have learned. We have learned from the paragraph of the first paragraph of that Gandhi owned rewards, uh, prizes in the in his school, so that he was a good student. In the paragraphs second, we learned that Gandhi himself also received a corporal punishment, and so he also did not participate in sports and games. When it was made compulsory, he had to participate, and he was also exempted. Okay, and this is about and Gandhi guarded his character more. We need building character is more important for Gandhi. And paragraph 3 is about headmaster, who was a disciplinarian, a man of method, a good teacher, and Gandhi was also fined. And in the paragraph 4, we learned that a man of truth must also be a man of care. And the fine was a remission at last. Okay, I think you have enjoyed the class, and this is the part 1 of the class, and the second part we will finish this chapter at the high school. You must attend the second part. Thank you. Best of luck.